Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to grade 9 chemistry class. Today we are going to discuss the topics typical properties of liquids, which are vapor pressure and boiling point. These topics are mentioned in your chapter number 5 of textbook on pages 85 to 87. Now first we are going to discuss vapor pressure of the liquid. So here comes definition first. The pressure exerted by the vapors of the liquid at equilibrium with the liquid at a particular temperature is called the vapor pressure of the liquid. वेपर प्रेशर से मुराद वो दबाव है जो लिक्विड के वेपर्स उस वक्त अप्लाई करते हैं जब वो इक्विलिब्रियम यानी तवाज़ुन की हालत में यानी बैलेंस की हालत में होते हैं, और ये प्रेशर ये लिक्विड के साथ एक्सर्ट यानी अप्लाई करते हैं। इसके लिए जो गिवन कंडीशन है वो है एक पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर यानी एक मखसूस टेम्परेचर पर ये तमाम प्रोसेस होता है। Now I am going to tell you that after the main heading or definition, your next heading will become the dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic equilibrium. As you know that in your definition of vapor pressure, there is a term used equilibrium. Equilibrium means balance. So the balance at which the liquid vapors becomes equal to the liquid, that is liquid which are condensing back. So the vaporization and condensation process when become equals to each other, normally they are given the state which is called dynamic equilibrium. It can be best understood by this explanation. So equilibrium is a state when rate of vaporization becomes equals to rate of condensation. Now what is the meaning of this equality or vaporization and condensation? As we know, what is vaporization? In which the liquid after getting heat changes into vapors. And what is condensation? When by the removal of heat the gaseous form of water or any liquid returns back to its liquid state. So what happens at this state? That equilibrium is achieved, and due to this equilibrium always we can say the rate of vaporization becomes equal to rate of condensation. But these two processes always take place in opposite directions, like liquid changes into vapors first by a process called vaporization. The name of process is vaporization. So liquid vaporizes to form vapors. On the other hand, sometimes the vapors return back to the liquid once again, and this process is called condensation. So at this process or in this process you can see there is a dynamic equilibrium, that is there is a equality. There is an equality normally you can see. And what is that equality? That amount of liquid or the rate by which the liquid changes into the vapor becomes equal to the rate at which the vapors changing back to the liquid again. And these two processes are having or taking place at the same rate. And when these rates become equal to each other, then this state is called dynamic equilibrium. Vapor pressure can be best understood by this explanation. Now the next heading, explanation. As we know that when we place or when we take any liquid in an open container like a beaker, what happens after some time? So from this open surface, which is open at the top, liquid molecules evaporate and mix up with the air. Okay, this is air. Now what happens to the liquid molecules? They start evaporating and make vapors, and these vapors go into the air and mix with the air or the remaining gases which are present in the air. But when we close this container, for example, I have taken a small container having liquid in it and cover it properly with the help of some other container over it. So the molecules of the liquid or the vapors of the liquid will not escape from this closed flask. Now what happened after some time? That the liquid start evaporating once again. For example, these are 5 water vapors or liquid vapors which are evaporating, that is, which are converting from liquid state into the gaseous state. So this is a closed system. What happens to these evaporated molecules? They start gathering or collecting over the liquid surface. So they are here present over the liquid surface. Initially, the vapors condense slowly to return to the liquid. What happened? That some of the vapors return back to the liquid again. But in the start, initially, the rate of condensation will be very slow. But after some time, that is gradually, what happens? That the condensation process increases and a stage reaches when the rate of evaporation becomes equal to the rate of condensation. Now what is happening in this case? See the second container or the same container after some time. After some time you have to watch it. So liquid is evaporating, showing that 5 vapors are evaporating in this case. Now returning back of the gaseous vapor or gaseous form of liquid again into the liquid is taking place at slow rate, but gradually the process of condensation starts increasing. Now what are you looking here? The number of vapors are here in the first figure 2. Now the number of vapors are 3, and then again after some time these number of vapors are reaching up to the equal number of vapors which were evaporating from the container inside the closed flask. So at this time we can say an equilibrium is achieved. Equilibrium is achieved. So why this equilibrium is achieved? Because rate, that is the speed of the process. Which process? That is called rate of vaporization actually becomes equal to rate of condensation. Rate of condensation. इस पूरे अमल में आपको वेपर प्रेशर को एक्सप्लेन किया जा रहा है, जिसमें ये कहा जा रहा है कि अगर आप लिक्विड को एक खुले कंटेनर में लें जिसके माउथ पर आपको नज़र आ रहा है कि कोई कैप, कोई कवर नहीं है, तो जब आप लिक्विड को इवेपोरेट करेंगे बाय प्रोवाइडिंग अ पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर, व्हाट हैपन्स कि लिक्विड जो है उनके वेपर्स जो हैं बाकायदा तौर पर एयर में शामिल हो जाएंगे और मिक्सअप हो जाएंगे। लेकिन अगर आप यही प्रोसेस इवेपोरेशन का या वेपराइजेशन का आप किसी क्लोज कंटेनर के अंदर या क्लोज बर्तन में करें तो क्या होगा कि लिक्विड इवेपोरेट होना शुरू होंगे। हमने यहाँ पर 5 लिक्विड के वेपर्स बनाए हुए हैं, ये ड्रॉप्स या डॉट्स आपको जो नज़र आ रहे हैं ये लिक्विड के वेपर्स हैं। तो जब आपने गिवन टेम्परेचर पे लिक्विड के क्या वेपराइजेशन का प्रोसेस किया, उसको इवेपोरेट किया, तो लिक्विड के 5 जो हैं वो वाटर वेपर्स या लिक्विड के वेपर्स बाकायदा तौर पे आपको एरो की शक्ल में ऊपर जाते हुए नज़र आ रहे हैं, यानी वो गैशियस फॉर्म में तब्दील हो चुके हैं। अब हल्के होने के बाद ये ऊपर की तरफ मूव कर गए। बट आफ्टर सम टाइम आप ये भी देख रहे हैं कि ऊपर से कुछ वाटर वेपर्स या जो भी लिक्विड के वेपर्स हैं वो दोबारा से नीचे की तरफ आ रहे हैं और एरो डाउनवर्ड जा रहा है। तो 2 ऐसे आपके पास वेपर्स हैं जो कि नीचे की तरफ मूव कर रहे हैं। ये क्या इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि जो वेपराइजेशन का अमल है वो ज़्यादा है और जो रिटर्निंग बैक यानी दोबारा से गैस का लिक्विड में चेंज होने का अमल यानी जिसे हम कंडेंसेशन कहते हैं वो स्लो है। अब थोड़ी देर के बाद जब आप देखते हैं तो जितना आपके वेपर्स बनने का प्रोसेस हो रहा था उतना ही आपका कंडेंसिंग का प्रोसेस भी उसी रेट पर इक्वल नंबर ऑफ वेपर्स की शक्ल में जारी होना शुरू हो गया, जिसके नतीजे में आप देख रहे हैं कि जितने 5 आपके एरोज़ ऊपर जा रहे हैं उतने ही 5 एरोज़ नीचे भी आ रहे हैं, जो कि ये इंडिकेट कर रहे हैं कि जिस रफ्तार से वेपराइजेशन हो रही थी यानी वेपर्स लिक्विड का वेपर्स बनने का अमल हो रहा था उसी रफ्तार से अब वेपर्स दोबारा लिक्विड में कन्वर्ट होने जा रहे हैं। लिहाजा ऐसी स्टेज, ऐसी हालत जिसमें रेट ऑफ वेपराइजेशन यानी वेपर्स बनने का अमल, रेट ऑफ कंडेंसेशन यानी दोबारा से वेपर्स का लिक्विड में तब्दील होने का अमल इक्विलिब्रियम स्टेट कहलाता है और इसे हम डायनामिक इक्विलिब्रियम स्टेट भी कहते हैं। Next heading is factors affecting vapor pressure. So there are 3 basic factors which are given here. First one is nature of liquid, second is size of molecules, and third is temperature. First we are going to discuss the nature of liquid. Basically liquids are of 2 types according to their nature. First type is called polar liquids and the second type is called non-polar liquids. Non-polar liquids. Now what is the basic difference between both? In fact, the polar liquids have low vapor pressure, Vp for vapor pressure, while the non-polar liquids have high vapor pressure. What is the reason behind why they have low and high vapor pressure? This is because there are some strong intermolecular forces present in the or between the molecules of the polar liquid. So why polar liquids have low vapor pressure? Because they have strong forces. They have strong intermolecular forces among their molecules. While in case of non-polar, these forces are very weak. Reason again, polar liquids और non-polar liquids के according हमने अपने liquids की nature को 2 parts में या 2 types में divide किया, जिसमें हम polar liquids के बारे में कह रहे हैं कि इनका vapor pressure कम जबकि non-polar का vapor pressure ज़्यादा होता है। इसका सिंपल सा उन्होंने रीज़न ये बताया है कि जो पोलर लिक्विड्स होते हैं उनमें उनके मॉलिक्यूल्स के दरमियान स्ट्रॉन्ग इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस होती हैं जबकि नॉन पोलर में वीक इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस होती हैं। इसको आप बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से अगर समझेंगे तो एक एग्जाम्पल से आपको यकीनन समझ आ जाएगा। एन एग्जाम्पल इज़, सपोज़ हमने एक बीकर में वाटर ले लिया और दूसरे बीकर में हम ले रहे हैं अल्कोहल। एज यू नो दैट बोथ आर लिक्विड्स, दोनों लिक्विड्स हैं, दोनों में जो मेन प्रॉपर्टीज़ लिक्विड्स की हैं वो मौजूद हैं। बट व्हाट इज़ द बेसिक डिफरेंस रिगार्डिंग द नेचर ऑफ लिक्विड? अब हमने इसको इन 2 कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड करना है। वाटर इज़ बेसिकली अ पोलर लिक्विड while alcohol is non-polar liquid. Non-polar liquid. So if you will provide heat or any given temperature to both liquid, what happen to both? दोनों में क्या होगा, क्या हो सकता है? जब वाटर को आपने गिवन टेम्परेचर पे इवेपोरेट करने की कोशिश की या वेपराइजेशन का प्रोसेस इसमें किया, तो नॉर्मली जो वाटर के मॉलिक्यूल्स थे वो आपस में इतने ज़्यादा मजबूती से जुड़े हुए थे कि उनमें बहुत ही रेयर आपको वेपराइजेशन यानी वेपर्स बनने का अमल नज़र आया। ऐसा क्यों था? क्योंकि मॉलिक्यूल्स बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस की मदद से आपस में बाइंड हुए थे, जुड़े हुए थे। बट इन केस ऑफ अल्कोहल विच इज़ अ नॉन पोलर लिक्विड, द मॉलिक्यूल्स हैव वीक इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस अमंग दैम। मॉलिक्यूल्स की इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस बहुत ही वीक थी, यानी एक मॉलिक्यूल दूसरे मॉलिक्यूल से बहुत ही कमज़ोर ताकत की मदद से जुड़ा हुआ था। लिहाजा जब आपने उसको टेम्परेचर प्रोवाइड किया तो वो बहुत ही जल्दी वेपर्स में यानी लिक्विड फॉर्म किसमें, वेपर्स में चेंज होना शुरू हो गई और बहुत सारे वेपर्स जो थे वो एयर में इस तरीके से आपको मिक्स होते हुए नज़र आना शुरू हो गए। अब जब ये वेपर्स बनने का बहुत ज़्यादा अमल शुरू हो गया तो ये इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि इनके में हाई वेपर प्रेशर होता है, क्योंकि इतने सारे वेपर्स बनने का अमल हाई की तरफ लेके जाता है। जबकि यहाँ पर आपको नज़र आ रहा है कि बहुत ही कम 1 2 3 इस तरह के मॉलिक्यूल्स आपको नज़र आ रहे हैं वाटर के, जो कि इंडिकेट कर रहे हैं कि इसमें वेपर प्रेशर का अमल लो है, कम है। तो पोलर जितने भी आपके लिक्विड्स होते हैं उनमें वेपर प्रेशर कम, जबकि नॉन पोलर लिक्विड जैसे अल्कोहल या इसी तरह के और दूसरे जो आपके कंपाउंड्स होते हैं, या आपके यूँ समझ लें कि जिस तरह से नाम आपने सुना, पेट्रोल सुना है, केरोसिन ऑयल सुना है, यानी इनमें इवेपोरेटिंग की ताकत इतनी ज़्यादा होती है क्योंकि इनके दरमियान जो फोर्सेस होती हैं वो इंतहाई वीक होती हैं। लिहाजा वीक फोर्सेस का फ़ायदा उठाते हुए वेपर्स जो हैं वो फ़ौरन एयर में मिक्सअप हो जाते हैं और इस तरीके से यहाँ पर ज़्यादा अमाउंट में वेपर बनने का अमल इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि नॉन पोलर हाई वेपर प्रेशर के हामिल होते हैं। द नेक्स्ट फैक्टर which affect the vapor pressure is size of molecules. Now the size of molecules can also affect the vapor pressure. And how does it happens normally? As we know that molecules are of small sized molecules or large size molecules, or they have big size as well. For this purpose I am taking 2 examples. First example which I am here writing is hexane, and the formula of hexane is C6H14, while the large size molecules are decane, and the formula of decane is C10H22. Now as you can see, the formula of both compounds, hexane and decane. In hexane, the number of carbon atoms are 6, while the number of hydrogen are 14. While in case of decane, the number of carbon atoms are 10 and the hydrogen atoms are 22, which clearly indicates you that the hexane molecule is of small size, while the decane molecule has large size molecule or has large structure. It is a big size. So we are here discussing that what is the effect of size of molecule on the vapor pressure at the given temperature. So size of molecule is normally referred to the small size one, because small size molecules can evaporate or become or exert more vapor pressure as compared to the large size molecule, because it is lighter than the heavier molecule. Hexane is lighter while the decane is heavier. Therefore, the vapor pressure can be applied by a small size molecule which will be more than the large size. What is the meaning of this? मॉलिक्यूल्स का साइज भी वेपर प्रेशर पर असरअंदाज होता है. कैसे? जितना मॉलिक्यूल का साइज छोटा होगा उतना ही वो ज़्यादा वेपर प्रेशर अप्लाई करेगा या एक्सर्ट करेगा, और अगर मॉलिक्यूल का साइज छोटा है तो वो कम वेपर प्रेशर अप्लाई करेगा, जो ये इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि मॉलिक्यूल के साइज से भी आपके वेपर प्रेशर पर असर पड़ता है. सो हियर आर टू एग्जांपल्स. The smaller one is hexane while the larger one is decane, depending upon the number of carbon and hydrogen atoms. So which molecule will evaporate faster or rapidly? So it is hexane. Third factor is temperature, which also affect vapor pressure. How? As we know that high temperature promotes the process of evaporation, and at high temperature vapor pressure is higher than at the low temperature. So at this increased or elevated temperature, what happens to the molecules of the liquid? At high temperature, normally the molecules of the liquid have high kinetic energy in them. Suppose these are the molecules of liquid. So at high temperature, or if you will provide heating to this liquid, what happens in turn? Yes, what happens to the liquid which is present in the beaker after getting this heat at high temperature? So the kinetic energy of the molecules of liquid, which energy is present in it? Kinetic energy. So kinetic energy of the molecule will be increased, and due to this increase, normally it is enough to enable them to vaporize and exert pressure. So this is normally due to the high temperature, but at low temperature the process can be slow, but it doesn't stop. Next property of liquid is, that is property number 3, boiling point. Boiling point of liquids. Now what is boiling point? First of all you have to write down the definition. So define the boiling point first. Basically the boiling point is defined as that temperature. Boiling point is temperature. What is the meaning of point? Temperature. So it is that temperature at which the vapor pressure of a liquid, the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure, or any external pressure as well, बॉइलिंग पॉइंट वो टेम्परेचर होता है जिस पर लिक्विड का वेपर प्रेशर एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर यानी फ़िज़ाई दबाव के बराबर हो जाता है. ये भी आपकी एक इक्वालिटी है जिस पर दो चीज़ें आपस में एक दूसरे के इक्वल हो जाती हैं, बराबर हो जाती हैं. नाउ एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ द अबव डेफिनेशन. Explanation. So when a liquid is heated, for example, again I am taking water in a beaker and provide heat to the liquid inside it. what happens to the molecules of liquid? So after getting heat, the molecules gain energy, that is heat energy, and their movement will be fast, will start rapidly as compared to some molecules which are not showing that speed. So what happens inside? They gain heat energy, and after gaining heat energy, their kinetic energy also increases. Kinetic energy is also increased. The number of molecules which have more than average kinetic energy increases. More and more molecules become energetic enough to overcome the intermolecular forces. Now, as the average kinetic energy of the molecule increases, what happens? That the intermolecular forces which actually binds two molecules of the liquid together. Suppose it is an intermolecular force. So this intermolecular force becomes weak. Why it becomes weak? Because heat energy is responsible for providing more kinetic energy to the molecule. So they have more than average kinetic energy. So their intermolecular forces become weak because this energy overcome the intermolecular force. And due to this, the rate of evaporation, that is the conversion of the liquid water into the gaseous water, becomes increased. So with the elevation of this rate or increase of this rate, resulting in the increase of the vapor pressure as well. So the vaporization will be increased. Formation of vapor will be formed more than, until a stage reaches, and what is that stage called? As we know that stage is called dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic equilibrium. Now this stage, or after reaching this stage, the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure which is around the liquid molecules, and at this stage liquid starts boiling, and this whole phenomena is given the name boiling point of the liquid. What happens exactly in it? Explanation once again हम इसको वाज़े करते हैं. जब आप किसी लिक्विड को गर्म करते हैं या उसे हीटअप करते हैं तो फौरी तौर पे आप क्या देखते हैं कि उनमें से कुछ मॉलिक्यूल्स की जो काइनेटिक एनर्जी या एवरेज काइनेटिक एनर्जी होती है वो बढ़ना शुरू हो जाती है, इंक्रीज़ होना शुरू हो जाती है. और जब ये एवरेज काइनेटिक एनर्जी नॉर्मल से ज़्यादा हो जाती है तो वो इंटरमॉलिकुलर फोर्सेस पर असरअंदाज होती है, जिससे वो फोर्सेस वीक हो जाती हैं और इस तरीके से वो दो लिक्विड के मॉलिक्यूल जहाँ पर भी ये फोर्स मौजूद होती है उसको कमज़ोर कर देती हैं. जितनी फोर्सेस वीक होंगी उतने ही मॉलिक्यूल्स लिक्विड के सरफेस को छोड़कर वेपर्स बनना शुरू हो जाएंगे. यानी पहले तो ये मॉलिक्यूल्स कंटेनर में या बीकर में इसलिए आपस में जुड़े हुए थे कि इनके दरमियान फोर्सेस बहुत मजबूत थी जो इन्हें बीकर से या कंटेनर से निकलने नहीं दे रही थी. अब जैसे ही हमने हीट एनर्जी प्रोवाइड की तो मॉलिक्यूल्स की काइनेटिक एनर्जी यानी उनकी मूवमेंट करने वाली जो एनर्जी है वो बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गई, और बढ़ने से क्या हुआ, वो वेपर्स बनने का अमल ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा करने लग गए. अब एक स्टेज ऐसे आई कि वेपराइजेशन ही पर हमने देखा कि जब बहुत ज़्यादा वेपर्स बनने का अमल हुआ तो एक स्टेज हमने देखा कि फाइनली उन वेपराइजेशन का बनने का अमल आपके एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर यानी जो आपके एक्सटर्नली अप्लाई हो रहा था लिक्विड पे उसके बराबर आ गया. यानी एक तरीके से एक इक्विलिब्रियम स्टैब्लिश हो गया. और इस इक्विलिब्रियम स्टेट पर हमने ये कह दिया कि अब वाटर के अंदर क्या चीज़ स्टार्ट हो गई, बॉइलिंग होना स्टार्ट हो गई, यानी पानी उबलना शुरू हो गया. इस उबलने वाले टेम्परेचर को हमने एक थर्मामीटर से नोट कर लिया कि अब ये कौन सा टेम्परेचर है जिस पर अब पानी के अंदर छोटे छोटे बबल्स आना शुरू हो गए. नॉर्मली यही होता है कि जब पानी आप बॉईल कर रहे होते हैं तो उसके अंदर छोटे छोटे बबल्स आना शुरू होते हैं। तो उसी टाइम पे जब आपने उसके अंदर थर्मामीटर इंसर्ट किया तो आपने क्या देखा कि पानी ने अपना बॉइलिंग पॉइंट शो किया एट अबाउट 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस, जो ये इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि दिस इज़ द टेम्परेचर at which the vapor pressure of the liquid water becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure. So this is the point where you have to write down the boiling point of water, and it is 100 degrees Celsius. Now I am going to explain you the boiling point with three different liquids. The first liquid is diethyl ether. Second liquid is ethyl alcohol, and the third liquid is water. So by plotting a graph between the vapor pressure and the temperature, which is actually indicating the boiling temperature or boiling point, it will be clearly observed that there is a relationship of vapor pressure to the boiling point as well. Suppose I am taking some values of temperature on x-axis, and the last one is 100 degree Celsius. So this is the temperature or the boiling temperature in degree Celsius, while on y-axis I am going to take the vapor pressure up to 0 to 760, which is the standard atmospheric pressure. Now plotting all these values of three different liquids on this graph, we will get their boiling points as well, starting from diethyl ether. Actually the diethyl ether shows its maximum boiling point at about 0 degree centigrade, only 200 millimeter of mercury or the vapor pressure. But with the increase of temperature, it reaches to its highest atmospheric pressure, that is 760 millimeter, and touch this line, which is actually the standard value. After touching this value or after touching this line, you have to move down this curve to the lowest temperature, and it is 20 degrees Celsius, which indicates that at 0 degrees Celsius, what is the vapor pressure of the diethyl ether? So it is 200 millimeter of mercury, while at about 20 degrees Celsius, what is the vapor pressure of the diethyl ether? It is 760 millimeter of mercury, which indicates that 20 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of diethyl ether. Why? Because what is the boiling point? As we know, you have to define once again that when the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure, basically called the boiling point. So here we can say this is the atmospheric pressure 760 millimeter, and this is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure. Now the second example, that is ethyl alcohol. At 0 degree centigrade, ethyl alcohol shows the vapor pressure at about 25. So suppose it is 25 millimeter of mercury, and this is for ethyl alcohol, and here the value is 200 millimeter, and this y-axis represents the vapor pressure in millimeter of mercury. Now as we can say that at 0 degree Celsius, alcohol shows its vapor pressure at about only 25 millimeter, but with the increase of temperature, how much? Up to 78 degrees Celsius, this curve of the ethyl alcohol reaches up to the standard value, which is the atmospheric pressure at about 760 millimeter of mercury. So at about 78 degrees Celsius, what will be the vapor pressure? So it is 760 millimeter of mercury, which indicates that after reaching up to the standard atmospheric pressure, you have to note down the temperature of the given liquid at which it boils. So what is the boiling point of ethyl alcohol? It is 78 degrees Celsius. So you can move down and you will find that it is reaching up to the 78 degrees Celsius. Now the next liquid is water. We will do the same procedure as we have done in the ether and alcohol. Now at about 0 degrees Celsius, that is at this temperature, water doesn't show any kind of vaporization. It is not forming or actually converting into the vapors. But what happens with the increase of temperature? Again, I'll make a curve for you and reach up to the 100 degrees Celsius, and after reaching, the level of the vapor pressure also increased, which indicate that this curve is reaching up to the 760 millimeter of mercury level at about 100 degrees Celsius. So what is the vapor pressure of the water at about 0 degrees Celsius and at 100 degrees Celsius? So at 0 degrees Celsius, water doesn't show its vaporization process. So it will remain 0 millimeter of mercury. But in case of 100 degrees Celsius, what is the vapor pressure and at which stage normally the vaporization process is achieved, and this vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure, that is 760 millimeter of mercury. So finally we can say that the water has boiling point 100 degree Celsius. So this is the whole explanation about the boiling point and the relationship of boiling point with the vapor pressure as well. Next heading is factors affecting boiling point. So there are three basic factors given here. First one, nature of liquid. Second one, intermolecular forces, and the third is external pressure. First, we are going to discuss the nature of liquid. As we know that liquids are of two types depending upon their nature. One is called the polar liquids and other one are called non-polar liquids. Basically, the polar liquids have high boiling point, high BP, I am writing BP for boiling point, and the non-polar liquids have low boiling point. So what is the reason behind? Again, the reason is same, that they have high boiling point due to the strong intermolecular forces which are present among the molecules of the polar liquids, while the forces in case of non-polar liquids are not strong enough. They are weak forces. So what is the role of all these forces which are present among the molecules? As we know that strong intermolecular forces hold the molecules together, and the molecules will not escape quickly from the container. While in case of non-polar liquids, they have low boiling point as they have weak intermolecular forces among them. So molecules can easily escape from the container because the weak forces cannot able to join or bind those molecules together. So this is the basic reason. Therefore, more temperature is required in case of high boiling point, while the low boiling point mean at low temperature the easily any liquid that is related to the non-polar liquid or non-polar molecule will escape from that container. So it becomes easy for the non-polar liquids to escape or change into the vapors as compared to the polar one. The next factor affecting the boiling point is intermolecular forces. Intermolecular forces plays a very important role on the boiling point of liquids. As we know that substances having strong intermolecular forces have high boiling point because such liquids attain a level of vapor pressure equal to external pressure at high temperature. So this is why we can say that intermolecular forces are strong enough to overcome the gripping of the molecules. They are actually holding the molecules together, and the low boiling point of the non-polar liquids normally is due to the weak intermolecular forces which do not bind the molecules together, which do not grip the molecules together, so the molecules escape from the liquid, and what happens at the end? That the level of vapor pressure becomes equal to the external pressure normally at high temperature, while this level does not achieve or attain at low boiling point of the non-polar liquid. Now the third factor affecting the boiling point is external pressure. How can we say that external pressure or any atmospheric pressure affect the boiling point? In fact, the boiling point of liquid is controlled by external pressure. That is, the boiling point is under the control of external pressure. How? We can say in such a manner that it can be increased by increasing external pressure and vice versa. And this same principle is used in the working of pressure cooker. Pressure cooker. I think you are very much familiar with this container which is present in your kitchen. So, what is the principle of pressure cooker? Pressure cooker is also working on the same principle in which we can increase, if we can increase which thing? If we increase external pressure, the boiling point will also be increased. So, the same principle will be applied in case of pressure cooker. जितना आप प्रेशर इंक्रीज करेंगे उतनी ही चीज़ जल्दी आपकी बॉयल होना शुरू होगी, उसका बॉइलिंग पॉइंट जल्दी अचीव होगा और वो चीज़ आपकी जो भी आप पका रहे हैं वो आपके प्रेशर कुकर में जल्दी पक जाएगी। इसीलिए हम प्रेशर कुकर को किचन में इस्तेमाल करते हैं, क्योंकि हमें अगर किसी चीज़ को या अपने किसी फूड को जल्दी पकाना हो तो ये पर्पस हमें सही नज़र आ रहा है कि एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर के बढ़ाने से ही बॉइलिंग पॉइंट भी बढ़ जाता है।